Maxime Bernier is his name. He had some good points with like we need more investment, like generating of wealth and investment and stuff in Canada, and private sector jobs and everything like that. And the other parties seem to be just like, all they want to do is change the tax rates and stuff like that. Like, they want to just tinker with, like, well, I'll give you this tax credit, and I'll give you this tax credit. But nobody has
vote buying.
No one has a plan to actually do anything. Is that what you feel?
That's exactly what we were seeing with the other parties. We actually have a system that we want to try to change this all the way around. We want to try to get most of the money out of the federal government, get it back into the provinces, because at least the provinces can be held accountable to their voters.
Okay.
And so if the voters decide, hey, we want a climate plan, Sask Party's not going to do it. Vote in someone else is going to do it. You want the Sask Party to leave more money in the municipalities, which is where it's needed the most, then vote in a provincial party that do it.
Yeah.
Because at least if we have all the money in the province, we have a voice on how our provinces run. If all the money's going to Ottawa and Ottawa's picking who they send all this tax dollars to, that leaves us silent.
Yeah. So like, around here, so you're in the Melville, Newdorf area, Yorkton, or what area are you?
I live in Young.
Young, okay.
Right. So I'm a counselor there.
Okay.
So I see a lot of the issues that we face in our community.
Okay.
I've talked to many different counselors, mayors, and reeves from all over Saskatchewan, and I mean everyone's issues are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Right. We need to have that a steady source of funding.
Yeah.
And we can't get that with Ottawa. We can't get it when our tax dollars are there because they want to give it in grants. They want you to apply for these things.
Oh, yeah, right.
And now the money gets split up between all these different communities all across Canada. So if all the money sits in the provincial government's hands, then they can come up with a steady stream for all the different municipalities in the province.
Okay. Yeah. Huh. So, do you have a website or platform?
Sure, you know what? I got a brochure here.
Yeah.
With our party policies.
Why don't you write down the Facebook page there too, the web address for that?
Yeah, how about you write it down? You know that one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I will. Yeah, for sure. I do need a pen though. Yeah.
Do you have a pen there, Jerry?
Oh, absolutely.
Like the leaders debate. What did you think of the leaders debate?
It was very unfair when they started bringing out some of his tweets, and that was the only one. They did it right from the beginning. Everyone else was just blah right on top.
Yeah.
The format was bad too.
It was. They didn't give him enough time to talk about anyone's platforms.
Yeah, that's
really.
Right, yeah.
And then everyone kept talking over everyone else. Nothing really got said.
I hate when people call, like, he talks about immigration, and people all of a sudden say that you're racist.
Yeah.
But it's really more of a cautionary approach. They take a cautionary approach with everything else. Why not with immigration?
Because it's part of identity politics.
If they're bringing in, he said the size of Nova Scotia every 3 years.
Yeah, it's 350,000 people.
That's a lot of people coming to Canada, right?
Million people.
Unvetted. That we don't know who they are.
Right behind you.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And it seems like if anyone talks to... This is the impression I got from the debate, is that if anyone says anything against Trudeau wants an apology. It's like he's trying to run a dictatorship. You know? It's like...
That's essentially it.
It's
not right.
It's just not that great of a situation. And I don't know, like I don't want to see them in power again. And what do you think of splitting the vote, though? Do you think the PPC and the Conservatives will split the vote?
We're not going to split the vote because our policies are so much different than what the Conservatives are.
Yeah. Okay.
Our policies are about having a strong provinces, strong provincial governments, strong local governments.
Okay.
We don't want to be sending money to big businesses. We don't want these subsidies going to big businesses. We don't want to be sending money out of the country when we have so many people suffering within the country.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that your policy on foreign aid would be similar. Like,
we're bringing it all back.
Bringing it all back, yeah.
Except we're keeping a small amount for emergency funding. Like if there's a natural disaster somewhere and they need help now, we are make sure we have enough money that we can send. We could send it over there, even if we have to send some troops over there to help.
Our own people need help.
That's right.
More than
we do. We have a mental illness crisis in Canada.
I happen to be someone that has mental illness.
Yeah.
I've been dealing with it for 10 years.
It's not easy.
It's a very hard thing to deal with. Yeah,
That's tough.
Yeah, it's been tough. I'm on the right meds now, though, so my doctor's got me on the right stuff. So
once again, another part of our policy is what we see a lot is the provinces keep complaining to their citizens they don't get enough money from Ottawa.
Yeah.
Right. Well, right now the health transfers equal $40 billion. The GST also equals $40 billion. So what we want to do is eliminate the GST, have the provincial government raise their the PST.
Okay. And
in
get
tandem,
more money.
And now the provinces can be 100% responsible for healthcare.
Okay.
Which now means if the Sask party isn't investing enough in healthcare, we can elect another government that'll actually invest the right amount of money in healthcare.
Okay.
And then we're going to rewrite the equalization formula to balance out the differences. Because I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some of the eastern provinces that are going to be having a shortfall when we do this. But
like, does Saskatchewan, like, I don't even know how this equalization works, but does Saskatchewan give a bunch of money to Quebec and stuff?
Yep.
Really?
We don't get any back.
Like, what the hell? How does that work? We don't even...
Well, it was a bad formula from the get-go, and no one wants to rewrite it, because if they do, that means Quebec's going to lose $12 or $14 billion in equalization payments.
Well, it's too bad Quebec.
I know, right? Except they're like 45% of the vote in this country.
Yeah.
Or 30% of the vote.
Who are they for this year? So, like, who's Quebec voting for?
Liberal, Bloc, a little bit of Conservative,
yeah.
A little bit of PPC as well.
Yeah, okay.
But they also have a lot of the dairy cartel in there as well.
Yeah.
Which we want to break that up.
My brother and my mom are also undecided this year. It seems like a lot of people are undecided this year. They don't know where to turn.
Well, don't the Liberals and Conservatives seem like they're doing much of the same thing?
Well, sort of. But, like, I see a difference in, like, fiscal management. Like, I think the Liberals are just totally out to lunch.
They are on that case.
They don't know what they're doing. Like,
but even
$20 billion in a deficit a year.
It's too much.
But the Conservatives at least say they want to.
But they're taking 5 years. He said he'd do it in 2. Now he changes it to 5. Do you know what our deficit actually counts for the total spending in our government?
No.
It's only 6%.
Okay.
So we spend $350 billion a year. Our deficit's $20 billion a year.
Yeah.
Right. That's 6%.
Yeah.
Now, if we can cut foreign aid, that's $5 billion. We cut funding to the CBC, that's $1.4 billion. We can cut corporate welfare, that'll give us between $5 and $10 billion. I mean, we got between 50 to 75% of the deficit paid off.
Yeah.
Just 3 items.
Yeah, I know. It's got to be done.
And we're going to do it in 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 years, it's done. And then as soon as we do that, we're going to lower the federal income tax down.
Okay.
And bring the federal income tax down for everybody.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, just talk one last point before I leave you go campaign.
Yeah.
Climate change.
We don't believe in climate alarmism.
Yeah, I don't either.
We're not going to force a federal policy on anyone. If the provinces want to do it, they're free to do it on their own accord.
Yeah.
We, from a federal standpoint, aren't going to touch it.
Okay.
Most PPC candidates understand there is climate change. The globe is warming, but it's at a steady rate. Yeah. There is no alarmism whatsoever. You can talk to experts on either side of the debate that believe in it or not, and they will agree.
People are so confused because you put 100 scientists in the room, 50 say it's real, 50 say it's not real.
But you also got to remember,
so what are you supposed to believe?
When you have scientists on either side,
yeah,
you're supposed to both come to a conclusion, and the truth will usually rise to the top. But here we have one side villainizing the other side.
Yeah.
Right. Now it becomes ideology at that point. It's no longer science.
That's true. So the way it works right now is carbon tax is imposed federally and the money goes to the province? Is that how it works?
And then it comes back to you.
And then it goes to Quebec?
No, then it comes back to, some of it goes into a climate fund, but the majority of it goes to people making the least amount of money. It's really essentially a wealth redistribution scheme.
So what about mandating them to spend it on things like green technologies and stuff like that instead of if it's meant to be for the environment, why not mandate them to spend it on research and development for...
That's what they try to do, but you got to understand, lots of times what happens is you get too much money in these investment funds now, and the investment funds start to dictate to the media companies what they have to broadcast if they want to stay in that investment fund.
Okay.
I've seen this. This is NEI. They have dictated to Rogers Media, if they want to keep their stock in their investment fund, you got to start broadcasting this climate alarmism jargon.
Oh yeah.
So you get distortions in what it actually should be, and that's where this false message has come from. If you start putting too much money in this, then they start getting powerful enough, they got influence on who's spreading the news.
Okay. Good. Okay, well, thanks for your time.
No problem. Do you want some more brochures to hand out to other people who may be undecided?
I can take 2 more. One for my mom and my brother.
I'll give you a couple there.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ryan.
All right. Yep. Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Yeah.
See ya.